Well, I'm delighted to be joined by Stefanie Davidson of ABSS for today's interview with a local business owner. So just to start with, Steph, what does ABSS stand for?
So ABSS is Allied Business Support Services, which is a helping hands for your admin, basically. So we support businesses with their admin.
Okay, well, that was my next question. Tell me a bit about your business. So you tried that already. So tell me a bit more. Let's dig into that a little bit. What's your business about?
So the big thing is we are helping business owners to claim some time back. So if you think about all of the jobs that are fiddly and the admin type jobs where you're sending out letters to mailing lists, where you are collating your mailing list, you're checking everyone's still okay, you're doing your social media posts and you can't for the life of you think of something new to say. This is where I come in. It can be anything from transcribing a document or a video, because obviously, as you know, most of the people watching videos on social media don't actually listen to them, they watch them. So you need captions on there and things like that. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. So any admin tasks that a business owner or anybody in business might want doing, or social media support and all those
pretty much.
Yeah, that people don't find the time to do.
Yeah.
So would it be that they have to go to the bottom of their to-do list and find the thing that they keep on putting off, and that's the stuff that you could really help them with?
What we normally say to do is look at the last week and what is taking the most time for you to do. So what's kept you away from doing what you needed to do?
Okay.
That job, or it could be the one that you've procrastinated about a lot because you really don't want to do it.
Yep.
So you just kind of thought about it, did a bit of research, and then went away. And so actually, it's taken 4 hours when it could have been done in an hour because you just didn't want to do it.
Yep.
We all do that as business owners. There's all jobs that you just don't want to do, so you just put them to the side a little bit.
Yep.
Well, it's those sorts of jobs that I would recommend that you speak to somebody about doing, because that 4 hours, you've lost 4 hours real productivity. Yep. Whereas for someone like me, bish bash bosh, done.
Right.
Yeah. It's my bread and butter. So
yeah, that's what you're good at. Excellent. So who do you do that for then, Steph? Who do you serve? Who's your best customer, your ideal customer?
So for me, obviously I help small businesses, but my ideal client, the field that I'm really passionate about, is mental health.
Okay.
So this is your therapists, your counsellors, psychiatrists, psychologists, anybody who's supporting people with mental health issues. I've got my own backstory, as everyone has with mental health, and it's something I find that I'm really, really passionate about. I want to support the people who are helping people like me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And it's something I'm really, really passionate about, and it's a real fire in your belly sort of, I want to be helping those people. So that's where my ideal client is. But obviously with admin, it's very, very transferable. It's everybody needs help with admin, and I just like helping people.
Yeah. So you wouldn't not have somebody who wasn't any negatives in there, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
If somebody else wanted your services, of course you would help them, but you're really passionate about the mental health providers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like helping people who are helping people.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got a really clear target market there.
I do this week. It's a new thing.
Okay.
It's something that I've only been in business 10 months, as you know from previous.
Yeah.
So it's taken me this long to realise what I'm really passionate about. And it's the last month that I've went, right, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's down to COVID that I've had the time to sit and go, right, okay, what do you actually want to do?
Excellent. Yeah, great. It's good to take that time to reflect, isn't it, that we've had over the last weeks. Good. So what is it that that particular target market, the mental health providers, what is it that they need most from someone like you?
It tends to be, a lot of it's transcription. So typing up reports and things like that, because you need some background in medical terminology to be doing things like that, which I've got from previous work.
Okay.
The other thing is social media to help them get their voice out there. A lot of the time, they're great at what they do, but not many people are going to say, oh, go and see my psychiatrist, she's amazing.
Right.
So they need to be able to get their voice out there in a professional but a personal way, and that's what I can help with because I'm so passionate about it. It comes really easily because I love it. So it's something that feels really, really natural. Within 5 minutes, I could send you 50 graphics on mental health, anything.
Right.
Just because they come really, really easily because it's part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm explaining myself very well.
No, it does. I mean, clearly you've got a background, some history there, and as you've said, most people do, and that clearly helps because it's personal to you.
Yeah.
But you've clearly got some more professional background in that too, from what you're saying.
Yeah, lots of years working with mental health professionals.
Right, great. Well, that just makes it all the more authoritative. Is probably the wrong word, isn't it? It just makes you the person, the go-to person for that kind of.
Yeah, I've just got more experience in it, and it's more natural for me than it would be for somebody who hasn't got the background.
Brilliant. Yeah, good. So you mentioned that COVID-19's given you the time to think that through and figure that out as a particular niche for you. What's the impact of COVID-19 been on you and your business?
Oh, don't ask me that. So I'd only been running 8 months when it started.
Right.
And I'd just getting into profit, and I was so chuffed. I was on top of the world. This was amazing. And then everything crashed. Literally all of my clients at the time, none of them are actually mental health professionals. All of them said, we need to put on hold, and that's absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that because I don't want to force people to be spending money that they don't have at the minute.
Yeah.
Kind of defeats what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help people. So they all went on hold, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time on my hands.
Right.
So I went into flat mode for a couple of weeks where I just, what do I do? That sort of thing. And then I sat down and I evaluated the situation. Right, the finances of this, the situation is this, the social media is this. What do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
So I took the time out to adapt the sort of thing that I was offering. So where I was transcribing a lot of reports, I was offering to transcribe videos, transcribe meetings, things like that, that people wouldn't necessarily think about. Like the captions on your videos, the fact that the majority of your demographic isn't going to listen to it, so you need to have captions on there.
Right.
Plus, you're getting rid of some of your market if you don't have the captions on there, because you've got your deaf clients or potential deaf clients who are completely cut out of that element. So it's things like that. And then I started looking at self-development. So I started a VA mastery course when I first started with the business, and I've kind of like just played around with it a little bit. I'm now on my last module and due to graduate at the end of this week. So
good, well done.
I sorted out.
Yeah.
I decided it was too important a chance to miss for me to be better at what I do. I want to be the best in my field, and the only way to do that is to keep learning and to keep pushing and to keep going.
Very good. Yeah, well done. It's easy, or it has been, I think, for many people to procrastinated over the last 8 weeks or so, and I run into that problem just as much as anybody else of thinking you've got time on our hands and not doing the things that we need to do. So it's great to hear that you've grabbed the bull by the horns, as it were, and really got some.
A little while for us to get my head around it, but once I did, it was like, right, come on, this is what we've got, let's deal with it.
Yeah, well done. So you've answered my next question, which was, how's that working for you? Well, maybe you've touched on that. How's it working for you? Have you managed to get some business back over the last few weeks?
I'm starting to build. There's no business coming from it as yet, but there is a lot of connections, which from my perspective is actually more important. It is far more important to me to have those connections, to meet those people, and to find the people that I can potentially help, because then I can learn how to market it. Again, I'm quite new to this, so I need to learn how to market to this audience.
Yep.
So it's all about building connections. I've had time to do my website, and I've got to say my website's just amazing now. It's fab. If you'd have seen it 2 months ago, you'll understand why I say that.
Okay. What's the URL so we can show it off to people?
Yeah, I will get it sent to you, but it's alliedbusinesssupportservices.co.uk.
Very simple. Says what
Yeah.
Good, excellent. So I think you've touched on this as well. You know, times like this, as business owners, we know that we need to think differently. You know, it's a crisis. It's been called unprecedented. We need to think differently. So what ways do you find that work best for you to get creative and think differently?
It's going to sound really counterproductive, but what I do when I need to change gear or I need to think outside of the box is I take some time out and I focus on my why. Yeah. So I'll spend some time with my little one. I've got a 19-month-old, and I'll spend some time being silly, playing in the garden, food colouring on spaghetti, that sort of thing.
Right.
And then I'll come back to it, write myself a list of what I want to do, and then figure out how to achieve it. But I need to have that break time. I need to reconnect with why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
To give us the focus to then move to, right, okay, how are we doing it?
Excellent. Yeah. It's taking that time out, so getting away from it. It's thinking about something else almost, isn't it? It's giving your brain a chance to work subconsciously. But I love the idea of reconnecting with your why in a very physical way, you know, getting down and playing with your son or daughter.
Son.
Son.
My little terratot.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't be anything more physical than that, could it? I mean, talk about connecting with why, and it can be a very abstract thing, but you know, you made it very tangible. So that's brilliant. Any other tips that you've got for getting creative and thinking differently?
The main thing would be to connect with your audience. Who do you want to be speaking to? Because they know more than anybody what they need right now.
Right.
You can guess as much as you want, but connect with it. So get really, really good on your social, get really, really present on your socials, so that people can connect with you, you can connect with them.
Right.
And speak to a coach, speak to a mentor. They know what they're doing. So they do this all day, every day. This is their bread and butter. They want to be helping you, so speak to them.
Yeah.
This would be my top advice.
Great. Well, thanks for the for what I do. Yeah, good. You know, it is about talking to people, isn't it? Whether that's a coach or mentor, or whether it's your customers, that communication and passing of ideas between two people is where new ideas come from so often.
You've also got the element of networking. One thing you need to do is, and a lot of people have tapered off with it, is make sure you stay networking. It's easier. It's online. As you've seen yourself, I've been sat here with my small human who refused to let mommy go, still networking, still doing my job, still multitasking, because this is what I do. This is my life. So keep networking, keep doing it.
Good advice as well. Another way to stay connected with people and communicate.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Steph. So it's an interesting question. It's been said that you know, people learn from their mistakes. Smart people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So what mistakes have you made that other people can learn from?
Oh, crikey. I could give you a whole list. So the big thing for me is allowing myself to go off on a tangent. Okay. Not in the first part of the business, rather than sitting down and saying, right, I need to do this, this, this to achieve this. What I did was, I need to do everything right now, immediately. Come on, let's get it done. And then did nothing.
Right.
So the best piece of advice I can give is to get yourself a list, write it down, keep it up to date, tick off the things that you've done. That gives you a sense of achievement because you've done it, you feel great, you're achieving something. Mm-hmm. When you get to the end of the list, give yourself a reward. Doesn't matter what the reward is, give yourself a reward. You've done good. And then write a new list at the beginning of the next week and just keep your lists running, take them off and keep tying to them. That would be my biggest piece of advice for anyone.
So these are things that work for you.
Yeah, Yeah, it's the only way. Obviously, my life is a little bit hectic. I've got hubby working at home. I've got my parents living with me because of their circumstances. I've got a 19-year-old and I've got a business. So my life is crazy.
Yeah.
So I need to keep lists and I need to keep organised. Otherwise, nothing happens.
Yeah, great. Lists are so useful, aren't they? It's just a very simple way of keeping on top of everything and clearing your mind as well when it gets full. You know, just
brain dumps are amazing.
Brilliant. Good. Well, thanks for that. It's good piece of advice. And so, how can people contact you if they like what they've heard, and perhaps if they're in the mental health professions and they've got a to-do list as long as their arm and like to relieve some of that stress for themselves?
Well, they can find me via my website, which is alliedbusinesssupport.co.uk. They can also contact me by phone on 01670 719 700. I can send the details over to you.
Yeah, so that 70.
It's 01670 719 700.
Excellent. Yeah.
That is my business line. They can find me on Facebook via the business name or myself, which is Stefanie Davidson.
Okay.
They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Instagram. I'm pretty visible.
Yeah, great. Have you got an email address that you'd like to share?
I have. Yeah. It is Stefanie@alliedbusinesssupport.co.uk, but that is Stefanie with an F.
That's important, isn't it? So Stefanie with an F, not a PH. So
although if you sent it to PH, it would still come to me.
Oh, you've got all the bases covered, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it.
I'm admin.
Exactly.
This is what I do.
It's funny, isn't it? It's these small details which tell you that someone is very good at what they do.
Yeah.
You've got both email addresses figured out, and people can get it wrong and they'll still be able to contact you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I like that. So one last question, Steph, and I'll let you get back to your busy life. What's most inspiring to you today?
What's most inspiring me is the way people are picking up and moving.
Right.
The way they are completely adapting their world, how they're coping with everything. I find it awesome, the amount of people who are managing to look after their kids, to do a little bit of schooling, to do a little bit of work. I don't even know how they do it. All I've got to do is play. So yes, it's people that are inspiring me, and it's new people every single day.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. That's great. Fantastic. Good. Well, thank you, Steph. That's been 20 odd minutes there of just flown by, and just what a real insight into who you are and what you do. And as I say, just those little details that have come out of this just make you realize how good you are at what you do. So
I'm awesome.
Spending the time. And you know it. That's great. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you for your time.
No, you're welcome.